All righty, so we are up and running, and I want to say a huge thank you to both of you, Tavia and Julius, for agreeing to join me on Fighting the Good Fight. And give me your quick back of the novel bio of who you are.
Sure. Do you want to go first?
You can start.
Oh, okay. Cool. My name's Julius Cho. I'm primarily a voice actor, theater actor, and film actor in Toronto. You might have heard me from a kid's cartoon here or there. So I'm Magnus on Bakugan Battle Planet. If you have kids and you're forced to watch Paw Patrol, I'm Lionel Lightspeed in one of the movies. And yeah, I've been a stage combatant for, I think, around 5 years now. And it's been a pleasure and it's been kind of wonderful. Yeah.
And I'm Tavia Pereira. I am an advanced actor combatant. I've been doing stage combat for 7-ish years now.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
Hard to pick the date. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a primarily film TV actor. Most recently, Sticky Sally in Odd Squad, which is super fun. And I also do video games. I'm in the Division 2 Warlords of New York. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I do circus training because that's fun.
Mm-hmm. And not to out you, but you have posted some fantastic images of you basically doing some aerial work, and it's super impressive and inspiring. And a quick, one of the reasons why I've asked the two of you to jump in and do some discussion is I kind of want to talk about today about how stage combat training isn't just for people who want to be fighters or just for servicing the skills of being a fighter, because I'm really interested to hear how it has affected your artistic mind and the other things you do. And I think circus is a really good place to talk as well. And I'm thrilled that the two of you have also been assistants with me in working. And so it puts you in a really interesting place when you've moved from practicing to then trying to help others gain their skills. And I think the two of you have a really, really interesting and specific view of what you're looking for as an audience, right? Because I remember some of the feedback you gave. So these are some of the things I'm hoping to talk about. But if you don't mind, because Tavia, we were just talking, let's talk to you about what are some of the things that you have noticed that stage combat has enhanced in you as a performer, as an artist, that isn't necessarily fighting.
It's you
Oh,
first.
Dan was talking to me, or was? Oh, okay.
Oh, so I was going to say Tavia first. You know what? Just
Oh, okay.
Boom!
Okay.
Listen.
oh, because you're going to get because you're going to
I
get
was
the
like,
same
Scott
question,
Free.
Julius. You're getting the same question. I just
Yeah, I know, but I got time to think of mine.
Well, it's definitely helped me out a lot outside of fighting, because I actually haven't really used fighting a lot in my acting career. But what it's really helped me a lot with is body awareness. And the most recent example I have is of the character Sticky Sally, who's part of the Sticky Sister pair. And we do a lot of physical comedy in there, and just doing stage combat really helped me figure out, like, how do I approach like contact with another actor and be able to repeat it multiple times in the same order while keeping safe, going down to the ground, and still being able to act, as well as like being able to get like the consent and permission as well on top of that. So the stage combat training really helped me be aware of like my body for those physical comedy moments. Yeah, so that's there. And then it's also, yeah.
I was just saying, can I put an idea in your head to speak to? Also, because I know you as a performer, the clarity of your choices. I might suggest, and I should say that because of course I was very lucky. I was lucky enough to meet you in university, and I've watched you grow as a person, as an adult, as your experiences grow. And I would like to add that thought to you about how you approach. There's a new clarity to seeing yourself in space that I've noticed that I think might have some thanks to some of the work you've discovered through Stage Combat. Do you want to speak to that a bit?
Oh yeah, just being like aware of like what your choices are physically and how that's read to an audience. So I think one of the most beneficial classes was the found weapon class. We got to experiment with like, here's a vague script, here's a vague plot, and here are your weapons that you have to incorporate in the fight. And just being able to like play around with that, where something that I'm like, oh, this is clear in my head of what my intention is, and seeing immediately how that's received by the audience. And then being able to narrow down those choices and make those choices quicker and clearer, so what I want, what I'm thinking, gets translated. And I found I've been able to apply that a lot when I've been doing like physical work on set, which is being on set because it's all body.
Yeah, brilliant. Really brilliant. I'm going to come back to you. Julius, what do you think? The same sort of question, like how is it manifest? And I want to throw in one more thing. You also were part of a comedy troupe too. So there's something about immediacy with comedy, of course, right? And making it every time. But yeah, go ahead.
It like what I learned. Oh, geez. Sorry.
I have to leave again.
Yeah, come back when you're ready. We'll keep
He's a busy
going,
performer. Yeah, we'll keep going.
You know
what
this is
I
what
got
success looks like. This is what success
basically
looks like. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it really is. What I learned a lot from Stage Combat that translates into a lot of all the other disciplines I do is the sense of storytelling, of going point A to point B, really allowing, I think, the conflict to be dictated, or to the people in the scene to be dictated by conflict, to be precise. And how, going off of what you were saying, the specifics of these tactics, because even though we're not clashing with swords in every conversation, in every scene, in every dialogue, in an animation or on set or on theater, our words can be forms of attacks, can be
100%.
forms of deflection or parries or defenses that I think helped me really feel stable and grounded when I would go into scenes. And instead of worrying about, I think, what I looked like, it was more focused, which I got from Stage Combat, was how am I affecting my partner in a safe way, but how am I giving them the intention that I'm going for at this specific point of who they are. And yeah, I think that helped me immensely with a lot of things, really. Yeah.
So if I may, because what I'm hearing is it gave you the confidence to be able to focus on the other.
Exactly.
You know, because, and I don't think I'm saying anything that other people haven't thought about, but it can be very hard to have the confidence in self when performing. Am I doing this right? Is the audience paying attention, or am I looking right on camera? And there's something immensely freeing, even when you have just a little bit more confidence, right? There's something immensely freeing about being able to really focus on the other, and therefore, I guess, truly be in the moment that we're always striving for, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Because like Stanislavski talks about how you shouldn't focus on the audience or the reviewer, it's your partner. And I think with what we learned in Rape Your Wit, it was really informative that who am I, like, my form right and all that, you'll get that from your partner. And that's why, like, another thing is communication. Learning how to communicate with your fight partner for both safety and also efficiency, and being, I think, empathetic and listening to each other is really important.
Right.
Yeah.
I got an interesting thing. We never trained together.
No.
And when we actually did a few workshops together, it made our film self-tape and film rehearsal process a lot easier. Because we could go and harken back to, you're not listening to what I'm giving you, or you're just fighting without me right now. So I'm not receiving that like back and forth. So it was like really cool because we were able to find like a new language to work on stuff with.
And to go off the comedy thing, there's so much, I think, like visceral music that is in Stage Combat, of like ba 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 ba, or kind of things where you can feel when an attack is going too slow or when it's going a bit too fast. And that translates a lot in comedy as well, figuring out when can you deliver a punchline, or when is this the right moment, and feeling that, I think, pocket is how I define it.
I love that you said that, because I think both stage combat and comedy both really suffer when people milk things. And people milk things for a comfort level, again, going back to confidence, being unsure, do you know what I mean? And as I said, both of you have been assistants with me, and I think this might be a good way to get to that, is when you're watching other people who are new, young to the work, and the advice you want to give, I'm curious, is there something that each of you saw a lot? Because the one I would share often is, and you've heard me use the term, is to get on with it. And it's not to be negative or accusatory or judgmental. It's that the event has occurred and your need hasn't been addressed as the character. Your character must get on with it, because there's the drive to the next moment, versus dwelling. And I think the problem with dwelling is that we feel the scene that goes, and it drops. But what are some of the things, because you saw quite a few different people, right? And what's interesting, and I'm thinking specifically again of Tavia was in a space where everyone had the same training. They were your school, right?
Right.
Your alma mater. And so it's very interesting when you have a group of people who have a similar, I was going to use it for the two of you, you found you have a shared physical language now because of the training. Despite the fact that you weren't training together, you were training in a similar world, because both of you trained with us at the WIT. So I'm curious, what would you share, that things you noticed that there were notes you wanted to share, or observations from observing other people new to the art?
You want to go first?
Yeah, you can take this one.
I would say it's like a lack of ease is what I saw with a lot of these students. And I get it. It's like you're going into theater school, so you're still pent up with anxiety and fears. But
I might become the lawyer my parents asked,
right? I should have been a doctor, like that thing, while you're swinging a sword at someone. But it really is that lack, I think, of ease that stems from confidence, and also breathing into the movements and trusting into that momentum. Thus kind of rolling into get on with it kind of thing, where if you're stunted in your breath, if you're stunted in trusting that this is the motion, if everything's clear and you can go, it's like the comedy thing. If a guy's too tense, even if they do everything perfectly, you're like, you're not really here right now. Yeah, that's the note I would give now. Yeah.
Even as easy as speaking the lines too quickly, so the audience, it doesn't land, right? The comedy doesn't land because you're blowing through the beats, the timing for that. Yeah. Well, what about you, Tavia? What things that echoed for you?
My note would be to enjoy what you're doing, because this is not something you have to do. Nobody is saying you have to go to theater school. Nobody's saying you have to pick up weapons and learn how to fight with them for a theatrical purpose. Nobody's saying any of that. So it's like, why are you doing this? And why is this so stressful? Because I find a lot of people, especially in a university program, myself included, is just so focused on like the grades and being perfect and getting it right, that they forget that they're here because they want to be, and they're here because it's something that they enjoy doing. And then they forget to enjoy it while they're there.
Yeah.
It's like giving yourself permission to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.